Okay, I'll call this meeting together. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all very much. Please be seated. Welcome to the December 2024 regular school board meeting of the RBB CSE School Board. We're thankful to have all of you present this evening. And for roll call, please let the record show that Mr. Tucker, Mr. Durnall, Mr. DeMoss, and Mr. Kerr are present. And are there any visitor comments? Okay, seeing none, we'll go into the recognition of the Edgewood High School Class C State Championship Marching Mustang Band.
Usually we put annual items in the consent agenda, and so maybe we ought to put this in the consent agenda. But no, we're excited to have representation from our marching Mustangs. Won the state championship 3 years in a row, 4 overall. And it's, you may think, well, when they do it year after year after year, maybe it's no big deal, but it is. I go to the competitions and I try to get up there in time to watch all the bands from start to finish. And they are all really, I don't know how they decide who wins. And, so I think that says a lot about, yes, 3 in a row, but 3 quality state championships. I'd like Mr. Wells to come up and I think introduce his folks. Yes.
Yes, please. Need to use the microphone for cats to be able to pick us up.
So normally I see microphones and I get a little nervous because I don't normally have to use them, but I know in this room I'll keep it down talking to the mic. I'm going to keep this real short. I came in Friday and I talked to Dr. Sanders. First off, I do want to thank you as the school board and admin team for the support, especially the beautiful new trailer that we finally got to take out. It was definitely a game changer for us and was something that I know that we've been looking for a while, and something that definitely added a really nice piece to our program. But a lot of people ask me about this situation, and 3 in a row is pretty cool to say. We've already kind of coined our little hashtag EPEAT, and because we did that 3 back-to-back with the winter percussion a couple months ago, and now we're looking at what would be the new cool saying if it happens to be 4, and we'll get to that bridge obviously when we get there. But I came in Friday to talk to Dr. Sanders because this is an amazing, this has been an amazing time for myself, my team that have put this together. But I think more than anything, we had some really wonderful seniors that had a lot to do with this program and putting this together, and it would really be kind of sad if they didn't get the opportunity to kind of just be acknowledged as well. So this evening I think we've got about 90% of our senior class. So if you guys would stand up real quick, that'd be great. Us that can't be here this evening, and no, they don't normally come dressed like this, but we do have a concert in just a few short minutes right across the street, so they were already dressed up, so it kind of seemed like a win-win for everybody. So I would like to turn this over though right now to my 2 fantastic drum majors, Miss Mary Crow and Miss Kaylin Dunham, and I would love for them to come up, and I would love for you guys to ask them questions and you talk to them, because they were the heartbeat of this thing. They were the reason why we went, and they're the reason why we were as phenomenal as we were this year in bringing home our 3rd straight title. So Mary and Kaylin, if you would please trade me spots, that'd be great.
Making us do all the hard talking. I know. Thank you for inviting us, and thank you for letting all of us sit in the front row. This is
Well,
very exciting for me. Yeah, but I am just so thankful to be here, and 3 consecutive state champions. That is crazy. I would have never expected this. Like, coming into my first year of band, I would have never expected to be where I am now. And this program has truly, like, changed my life. Like, you ask any of these people or any of the people sitting in the back, like, I was the most shy kid ever. And this band has truly, like, changed my entire person. So I'm just so thankful to all of the people I've known for all of these years, and all of the great staff that we've had, because they give up hours and hours for us. Literal, like, blood, sweat, and tears for us, and it's just amazing.
Kind of reiterating what she said, she made a lot of wonderful points. The 4 years that I've had have really been a roller coaster. I think high school can be really challenging for a variety of reasons, but band has always been a really safe spot for me, and I think a lot of the seniors can agree. It's been a really safe area that you can come to, and practice was kind of always a good escape from the rest of crazy high school brought. But it's always been a wonderful atmosphere. I've always felt very welcome and included in all of the areas I've been a part of, not just marching band, but winter guard, jazz band, you name it. The Edgewood program has been wonderful to me and to everyone else in it. So I've just been really grateful to have this opportunity to be drum major and talk to you all today about how wonderful the Edgewood marching band program has been. So yeah.
so are you both seniors?
We are both
both
seniors,
seniors.
yes.
So what happens next year?
They will hold drum major tryouts again, and they'll find the 2 next best and brightest, so, yeah.
Next best. Like that.
Well, we have the actual championship performance to show the board tonight, I believe. We all set for that?
Our next band comes from Edgewood High School in Ellettsville, Indiana. Let's welcome the Marching Mustangs. The title of their show is Skewed Perspective. The principal is Mr. Dirk Ackerman. The band is under the direction of Eric Wells, and the drum majors are Caleb Dunham, Mary Crow, and Max Biddle. Drum majors, the field is yours for ISSNA championship performance. Band director is Aaron Wells.
Wow.
Yeah, right, right.
I was just thinking.
Fantastic.
Marching band, when all the drum major and the band director were hoping was that we would keep relatively straight lines. And things have changed, but that is amazing.
Is there anybody here that had to play an instrument standing on one of those things that was moving back and forth? How did you do that? Practice?
I live very close to the school, so I get to hear the practicing. Yeah, I know you practice a lot. And,
A lot of screams as they fall.
You know, in my superintendent's report tonight, I'm going to be talking about our excellent music programs, both choir and band, and that it's not that it just happens. There are we have very talented teachers from elementary all the way up through high school. And Mr. Wells and his team, they put in so many hours, and I was at the second grade choir Christmas program, and they were doing things that were very complicated, and I thought, no wonder we have championship choirs and bands at the high school, because we have from all the way up, from elementary to intermediate to junior high to high school, very talented teachers who make all this happen, and also parents. I see a band parent back there, so you know, it doesn't just happen. I got an email from another superintendent who he wanted to know what our budget was. And my answer is, it's not really about the budget, it's about the hard work and dedication. And that's what makes a difference. So, at any rate, thank you, everybody.
It was
Did I hear
very,
somebody else want to say something?
I was just going to comment that I knew Mr. DeMoss would like that opening with the Beatles.
Oh.
Song. I knew he'd recognize that.
Yeah.
the first thing that came to my mind was, had any of these students ever heard that before? Before that, so, but I took some time while it was playing to look out at all of you, and you were all wrapped and so caught up into it. Your drum major, of course, was over there doing the beat with her head. She caught me catching her
And
to do
noticing
that.
mistakes.
So, yeah, and that's just it. You guys may pick out, oh, that was a little here and a little there. To me, it was perfect. So just appreciate you guys all so much. And and the parents too. You know, I was a show choir dad for 15+ years, so I know how hard that is. And so it's a lot of work and a lot of dedication for the whole family. So we appreciate all of you very much.
And we have a really cool podcast on the website. We had some of our band students who shared tonight, and one other person, you, right? Yeah. And they came and we did a podcast, and probably one of the best podcasts we've ever done. So you'll want to listen to that.
Awesome.
Well, thank you. You've got a concert.
Yep.
Yep, we'll
Hope we
let you
haven't kept
go.
too long.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck in your concert.
Still owe you, Mr. Tucker. Thanks for taking that chance 20 years ago.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we want to hire a full-time trainer, but that stuff up there, somebody's going to get hurt.
I couldn't do it.
Be careful. All right, be careful.
Okay. All right. Wow, that was awesome. And we got some more awesomeness coming up. We have, for the Mustang moment, we have Edgewood Intermediate.
Our EIS ambassadors here. Mr. Scholl, you want to come up and get the ball rolling? And
Again, I'll take a move out of Mr. Wells's book as far as keeping this short and letting the students, present what they've done. It was really special cause that they were interested in. They started it last year, but it's something they've kept going, and I think they've expanded on it. So I'm going to invite them up to tell you all about it.
So thank you for welcoming us to your meeting tonight. I'm Emily Bailey. I'm one of the adult teachers and leaders of EIS Ambassadors. And we started doing something last year along with the Key family. So when they came on, we know here at RBB we're a family through and through. And we wanted to help out our family even more when myself and the other adult leaders heard about Colton's kindness and their family and their journey. So the ambassadors, we brought that to them, and they were thrilled. They wanted to help so much. So our first year, they came together and they collected about 100 toys and over $400 for Colton's kindness. And we decided they loved it so much that we'd keep going with it. So I have a couple ambassadors, current ambassadors here tonight and former ambassadors, to tell you a couple things. So Mallory is going to come up and tell you kind of their process of what they went through. Can I move this? Okay.
So the ambassador leaders would teach it to us, and we would tell it to our classes, and then our classes would decide if they wanted to donate or not. And we would collect all the toys and bring them together at one meeting, and we would send them off to the Key family, and they would gather up all their toys that they collected and the toys that we collected, and they would bring them to the heart floor in Riley's hospital.
And then Luke wants to tell you his favorite part of their fundraiser they did.
My favorite part of Colton's kindness was I had fun donating because I have heart problems too, and I'm a Wiley patient.
And then I have former ambassador here, Audrey. She's going to tell you a little bit about kind of how the impact led her to make her own kind of choices to help out Colton's kindness. So we're very proud of not only the current ambassadors and their hard work, but the impact it's made on all of their lives.
So my birthday, it is also in December, and we donate to Colton's Kindness in December. So instead of birthday presents, when I asked for toys for Colton's Kindness, because I already have enough stuff, but people in Riley Hospital, they don't get to have a normal Christmas in their house. So I just wanted them to feel like they had enough to almost feel like a Christmas in their house.
So, and clearly we have some really great leaders in our school, and so Audrey kind of created a movement, and Maylee also kind of took it to the next step as well.
So I go to Rising Star Gymnastics, and we had a competition at our gym. and I wanted to ask my coaches to raise money for a Colton Kindness Toy Drive. So I asked my coaches if they could set out a box for toys or maybe just open a link to Colton Kindness Toy Drive, and they could send money to it. And I don't know how much money we raised, but we got a lot of toys.
And from my understanding, they decided to waive the competition entry fees and ask for donations instead. So, yeah. Do you have any questions for our kiddos?
Yes. Do you have anything to add? No? Okay.
Share for moral
Favorite
support.
part about being an ambassador?
I wasn't an ambassador.
Oh,
I wasn't.
well, that's just kind of for everybody, too. Anybody can answer that.
Just trying to help out the school, trying to be helpful.
I think it's impressive how you branched it out into the other things that you guys are doing, the birthday parties, the gymnastics, the different things, and brought all that in. I mean, those further connections are fantastic. And
Well,
that's
clearly the enthusiasm extended beyond the ambassadors.
Yes.
That's terrific as well.
Yeah, so every year the kids, we've asked them to reflect on kind of how the fundraiser went, what they think they could do better or change for the next year, not only to help themselves learn to reflect on their achievements and things, but help us kind of grow the program. And they've gave us some really, really great ideas, so we're hoping to continue this every single year to kind of make it bigger. We're hoping to, we've already kind of discussed as adult leaders working with some of the other school buildings here at RBB to grow it even more and maybe work with the RBB Foundation. So we're excited to keep it moving and have some great kids to help us along the way.
awesome.
So, yeah.
Anything else? Thank you
Thank you.
all
Good
for
job.
coming. You are amazing.
Mr. Shorter, you want to make a introduction while you're up?
Another person in attendance tonight is our new art teacher at Edgewood Intermediate. His name is Caesar LeBove, right here. And he has really hit the ground running. Caesar is originally from Louisiana, but he has lost the accent, unfortunately. But he has just hit the ground running. Is doing a great job in the classroom, already seeing artwork up in the hallway and just going in there and seeing kids, getting messy and working. It's just been great. So he's off to a great start, and we're lucky to have him.
Our English department chair is also a Louisiana transplant, and I know that she did not appreciate her first winter up here. I'm wondering how you're...
Yeah, Mr. LeBove has been here for a while. He's
Okay.
One of these people that came a little bit later to education.
Yeah.
People who sometimes they think, I don't want to be a teacher, but then you start working with some kids and you fall in love, and we're glad to have him.
Welcome.
You are all welcome to stay, but you're also welcome to go.
But you will miss the superintendent.
You missed my report, but you could catch it on Cats.
You guys were amazing. Thank
Good
you
job,
so much.
everybody.
Always so impressed with our students. I'm envious of the ambassador sweatshirt. But okay, awesome. All right, and I think we can probably adjourn.
Yeah.
That was about as good as can get. But we must move on. So the consent agenda, we have approval of minutes. There's the November 12th, 24 work session meeting, the November 18th, 24 regular board meeting. We also have the treasurer's report for November of 24. And Mr. Durnall, the claims, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Gross wages for November the 8th, 2024 are $784,584.21. Gross wages mini payroll is $11/21 of 2024 is $377.18. For gross wages on November the 22nd, 2024, $1,019,112.35 for a grand total of $1,804,000. $73.74 for vouchers and pre-claims from 11/1/24 to 11/30/24 is $1,783,082.33 for claims and vouchers on 12/16 to 2024, $363,569.29 for a total of $2,146,651.62 for a grand total of $3,950,752.36. Thank you, sir.
Then we have personnels, which is resignations, retirements, non-renewals, leaves, and terminations, C1 through 8, and personnel appointments and transfers, D1 through 12. We are so happy to have 2 donations to speak of this month. One is $155.57 from Donors Choose to Stephanie Truax's class for Kaplan Early Learning Vinyl Chair, and then $210.77 from Rachel P. McCarty to Junior High School for books. There is also an out-of-state and overnight field trip for the band to go to New Orleans. You want to?
Right. So the high school band students next summer, June 1st through the 6th, will be traveling to New Orleans. They'll be using, as usual, the music travel services. Now, this is not something for the band where they're going to perform. They're more going it's more of an educational trip to enhance their learning in music and band, and obviously what better place to go to than New Orleans. And so just wanted to share that information. I don't know, Dirk, do you have any other thing you want to add to that?
No, I think you covered it.
Okay. And then the supplemental report we'll take separate. So do we have a motion on the consent agenda as presented?
I move adoption of the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions, discussion? Envious of the trip to New Orleans as well.
I got to go.
So,
I got to go when my son was in band. Yeah, it was. Yeah, and they played in Jackson Square. It was terrific. Thank you, Mr. Tucker. I don't know if you remember that. He couldn't go, so I went in his place.
Good. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. I agree. All right, so 4-0. And now we have a supplemental personnel report. Mr. Irwin?
On the supplemental hiring report, this is to comply with the Indiana Code 2026-511.2. And I sent you guys all the necessary information to look at this so that you guys could vote on it. And I can answer any questions if need be, but you guys do have the information that you need to vote on it.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
I move approval.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions, comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 4-0. And now the Assistant Superintendent report, Mr. Irwin.
Have cash flows there. Starting with the education fund, things continue to move along nicely. I've adjusted the December tuition support. The DOE sent out their latest Form 54 memo that shows the reconcilement of our CTE grant and then also the NESP grant. The CTE grant is based on classes and certain programs that they deem where certain amounts of money as it goes into the tuition support formula. And then NESP grant is for EL students. So our EL student count went down by 1 student from last year's count. So you saw that money decrease a little bit. But then overall in our CTE numbers, that went up a little over $81,000. That's because we've had way more students participating in the courses that the state considers high-value programs and classes. So kudos to the high school and the changes that we're making and the things that we're doing that makes a difference as far as the opportunities go for our kids. And then also just continue to just look at, and interest on investments remains high. It's been high all year, so that continues to move along. And so we remain in a great spot. We'll probably encumber a portion of this year's appropriation. There's a large amount of it left Again, appropriation is just authority to spend, so we'll encumber a little bit of that as we do a re-review of our 1782 and look at the line-by-line budget in our financial software, but we'll not encumber all of that, just probably a portion of it as we look through that. I'll provide you closeouts next month of year-end for December, and then in January, you'll also see just a projection out into the full calendar year of 2025, but Education Fund is in great position. It's a reflection of all the changes that you guys have voted on as well, and so a lot of those catch up in the back half of the year, but we're still in great spot, so good to go there in the Education Fund. Debt service fund, no expenses or revenue during the month of November. You guys know that there's very little activity in that fund. It just happens at different points in the year. I did get an update from the county on our Form 22, which is just the form that comes in that lets us know the disbursement of levy dollars as it relates to property tax and the different taxes that are collected. Our collection is normal. It's usually really high. It continues to be really high, and so we're in great shape there. We did have less circuit breaker loss than what was expected, and that remains true if you go over into the operations fund. Again, that one, year-end cash balances look a lot better than what I showed you last month. In part is I don't think that we're not going to receive the second bus that we ordered. That part's going to have to get carried forward, so we're not going to incur that expense here in 2024. We'll just carry that forward into 2025. It's not necessarily an issue as far as it relates to funds and carrying funds forward. Obviously, we want that bus as soon as possible as it relates to the operation of transportation and the reason that we were replacing a bus in the first place. So we are eagerly awaiting that bus. We continue to check in on as far as a timeline for it. Still don't have a firm date on it, but we've been guaranteed that it is in production. So again, as I said, in the operations fund, we did not incur as much tax cap loss as what we anticipated from the DLGF circuit breaker report. Our claims remain lower than projections, so again, that factors into things looking a little bit better in year end. We're in a fantastic spot in the operations fund. We're cruising right along there. Looking forward to the things that are coming in 2025 as we finish up some of the projects that are going on around here and the necessary staffing changes that we'll need to accommodate those. So all in all, very pleased with where we stand. As I had sent this to you last week, and even getting up into today, we still had not received our 1782 notice. But literally about an hour or so before the meeting, I received that from our DLGF rep. So I'll finish reviewing that and talk with Stiefel and all of that stuff and report out to you at the January meeting officially. But I can send you an email just to let you know and confirm we are on target to hit that total tax rate goal of $1.03. That you guys wanted, so we'll probably need to make some small adjustments to the notice just to make sure that we hit that, but that's not any different than what we've done the last couple of years, and I'll update you on that formally as we get into the January board meeting. So that'll take any questions.
Did the TAG grant get dispersed?
Yes.
Yeah, TAG grant was dispersed, so that did come in, and we sent that out last Friday as a special pay, and this week is a regular payday on Friday as well. So that rolled through, no issues there, so we're good to go.
Good to hear.
So the retro pay was part of the TAG grant money also. We got the retro pay was in that last paycheck.
That was for the teachers, that was in the last pay in November.
Okay.
That's why November and December are both higher than the previous month.
Yeah, you see retros in there, and that pushes that
That's what
number higher.
I was just kind of curious.
Yeah.
So everybody's, across the board, everybody's been made whole.
All
Everybody's
rate
been made whole.
changes have been pushed out, yes,
Okay.
and retros as well.
Now, if we send some money to the rainy day fund, when can we do that? And where would that come from?
We could do that as early as beginning of next year, if that was something that you wanted to look at and possibly do, and then that can just be a transfer from either education or operations, depending on what you wanted to do. That would just require resolution.
Does that, and then the December property tax revenue is quite a bit different from June. What's the reason why?
So they typically give us about 60% or so in the first draw. So they try to give you a bigger portion of what the overall amount is in June. Then usually the later half that comes in December is always a little bit smaller amount, typically around 40-ish%.
Okay, I had no idea that's how they did that.
Yeah, that's pretty normal on a
Thank you.
given year.
Any further questions? All right, thank you, Mr. Irwin. Okay, now we have the permission to create district culinary support specialist position. And Mr. Irwin?
Yeah, so this is an exciting one for our Nutrition Services Department. A couple of Vicky's main team members are here to talk a little bit about it, if you guys have any extra questions. But this is something that, one of the things that continues to be a wonderful part of our Nutrition Services Department is the way that they continue to look forward and look at the way that we expand services to our kids and the way that affects their school day. This is just another step in that. If you looked at the purpose of this position, it's, it says that it's to ensure that the school kitchen production methods support the creation of menus to meet the mission and vision of our program by incorporating more scratch cooking and using local products while maintaining compliance with the National School Breakfast and Lunch programs. And it also is going to be overseeing culinary functions of the school district. I think one of the things that we are working on doing, and Vicki and her team are doing, is continuing to educate people about how great our school meals are and how good that food is. I think a lot of our staff and our students continue to see as the year goes on, they continue to make it better and better each year. They've done a lot and tried a lot of different things. We've had chefs coming in this year. They've made strategic moves in order to provide free lunch to kids K through 5 with the CEP program this year. They've continued to make advancements in the program that not only are great for our kids, but we believe are sustainable and the right thing to do. And so this is just another step in that direction. And so this is something that I know that Vicki personally and her team are very excited about. So that's what this position is, and it aligns with all the things that we've been doing here lately. So I'm just asking for your permission to create this position, and then hopefully in a future board meeting, the hiring of a person for that position. So take any questions. And like I said, she's got a couple of her team members here if you want to ask of anything at all.
What do you see as being a result from this position?
Guys, if you guys talk, you guys will have to come up and talk into the microphone.
Hi, my name is Ann Gastineau. I'm the operations supervisor for RBB and Nutrition Services, so it's a pleasure to be here. And could you repeat the question? I can't hear you very well.
What would you expect the result, the outcome to be of this new position? What would come from it?
Sure. So this position, its purpose is to elevate our program. So we have lots of good plans to educate, to more scratch cooking, more farm to school. This position will help with that. Sorry, I'm not used to talking in front of people. It's not my forte. Put me in a kitchen, I can make food all day long. But talking's not my forte. But like Mr. Irwin said, we are very passionate about the program, about feeding students healthy, nutritious meals, and also educating them on how to eat right and eat healthy, and how to make it a sustainable thing for them, like not just at school, but at home. And so the education part of this position is very important to us too. And to provide scratch cooking. We don't have a lot of time in the school day, right? And so we've had a lot of processed foods, prepackaged foods, but now we're moving more towards making homemade foods. Like we just had Harvest Pie. We had a chef come in, and that's basically a shepherd's pie, right? And so a lot of kids have never even ate anything like that. So our hope is when we have this position, we can do that all the time, not just once a month when a chef comes in, right? We can have that daily, offer it weekly, monthly to these kids, just different things, breakfast, lunch, and it goes along with our the regulations that are coming our way. Reduce sugar, reduce sodium, and when you scratch cook, you control everything that goes in, and it makes it easier to fall into line with regulation and things like that. So this position specifically will help with all those things.
And our kitchens are equipped to do everything from scratch too?
So we are getting there. So we have our new kitchen coming to the high school next year, and that's where this position will be hosted. I mean, he or she will be in all the kitchens, but their home kitchen will be the high school kitchen. And with that brand new kitchen, we will definitely be able to do from scratch. And I do a lot from scratch now, even now. So like, just for instance, at the junior high, I made about 780 from scratch meatloaf recipes that's going to be coming in at the first week of January. So we are set up to do these things. It's just having that brand new kitchen, and then also this position to be able to just focus just on those things, and also the education part is really ideal and very important, and will get us to where we can get the kids excited about home cooking, right? They're excited about McDonald's, but we want to get them excited about meatloaf and shepherd's pie and also whole grains, and to know, and it's not just about eating it, it's about knowing how much better that is for you, what it does for your body. And also the farm to school, like, planting, growing, picking, cooking with all that same food. I mean, that is just essential for education for our kids. And, if we can start them young, educating them, and by the time they're in high school, they'll be used to eating all that way. And then they can it'll just be part of who they are, so.
I know that we've talked about possibly adding some culinary courses to our curriculum. Is this maybe a door opening to that adventure?
That would be a hope. I mean, nutrition and education are hand in hand, right? I mean, it all provides the same whole school, whole community, whole child, right? That's part of it. So, educating them, feeding them, and teaching them that it tastes good, but it's also healthy for you. So.
Okay, sorry.
No, I was excited when I saw in the packet, the fresh ingredients, the locally sourced ingredients, and also the education component of it. I think is going to be good for the kids and their future diets. So.
Yes.
And we may or may not have had discussions about how can we grow some stuff ourselves.
Yes, that's part of it too. Growing and utilizing the areas we have right now, and being able to, focus more on that also.
Yeah. So. Yeah, we got some extra property too. Might be well, I tell you, if speaking is not your forte, then I would love to have you cooking because you've done well tonight. So.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Try my meatloaf on. It'll blow your socks off.
If you think her talking's good, try her cooking.
Okay. So we're ready for a motion? I don't think we have a motion yet.
Are you at the high school?
I'm at the junior high. That's my basic.
So is anything happening?
I'm actually all over, but yes.
So at the high school cafeteria, is it still untouched? I know the construction's going on, but
So
haven't touched it yet.
she's about to waste, so yeah. So go ahead. I'm gonna say that new kitchen has.
Okay, I was just,
The
okay.
plan is to have it done by next school year. That is, I believe, the plan, right?
I'd have to revisit the timeline. But yeah, next school year, yeah, so it'll be dependent on
They
once we're
want
able
it
to-
at the beginning of the school year, don't
Yes,
it?
once we're able to take the auxiliary gym and they kind of know that schedule, it'll tighten up the timeline of when they know exact, because they can't start demoing our current kitchen until they are sure when they can produce the other kitchen. So they won't touch your current kitchen until they're ready to deliver the other one. Otherwise, we'd have some real issues. Mr. Ackerman's back there fretting as I say that right now, so.
That's what it is, yeah.
Yes, that's planned. Yeah.
Shepherd's pie.
Shepherd's pie.
Yeah. So I wanted you to pass on to Ms. Coffey too. I like her, at the bottom of her memo, she's got the, because I didn't know what this was, but I think Dr. Sanders kind of explained it to me. The Rural School Breakfast Trailblazer Award from the Department of Agriculture. So kudos to you guys with that. That's a nice honor, I assume. And we got a lot of participation in breakfast?
Well, we're trying.
Okay.
It's an uphill battle, I feel like, but yeah, it's a continual thing, and just exposing them to.
Price is right.
Right?
Yeah, I like the price, yeah.
Well, and that's also part of our reducing our shares. Yes. Yeah, so
Okay.
there's new requirements that are coming into the next school year, like the 25% That's part of that initiative, to stay ahead of the game, start all of these recipes before we have to. That way we get the kids acclimated to them. And so we have started a lot of those this year, and we have some really great results, and some like recipes that have really won, and some that were like, okay, we'll just, we'll try different things. But yes, that is part of it. So the Trailblazing Award was for the initiative to get that going, and sampling with the kids, and having our leads make recipes, and just trying to stay ahead of the game.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks.
To a motion.
Yes, I'll make a motion to accept the creation of the District Culinary Support Specialist position.
And I'll second.
DCSSP. All right.
All right, been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much, and I hope your voice gets feeling better.
Yeah. Time of year.
Okay, consideration to authorize the superintendent to execute the purchase of parcel number 53-04-10-2006-010.000-013. Very good. Yes, I haven't done it a million times.
So if you recall at our September board meeting, the board approved a resolution expressing interest in this property. It's actually 107 South Poplar Drive. And before we could purchase or assign appraisers to appraise the property, somebody else bought it. And once that purchase became public, then we approached the buyer to let the buyer know any time in the future that you might be interested in selling the property, just let us know. And he immediately was interested. I believe the property was purchased as an investment, and when the buyer knew that we were interested as a school corporation into buying the property, he said he would be interested. So we had 2 appraisals done from Monroe Owen Appraisal Incorporated and FIG Appraisal Group, and both appraisals came back at $90,000. We are required by law that we cannot offer any more than the average of the 2 appraisals. And so we contacted the buyer and gave him the results, and he's agreed to sell us the property. The property just it gives us as a corporation an opportunity to just control that property, make sure that whatever is done on that property would be aligned with the values and the interests of the school corporation. And also I'm hoping that we will have eventually a greater presence, a visible presence from Highway 46, and this will help with that. So we do have a purchase agreement that's been sent to us, but we're going to need to work on that a little bit. So I would advise that we go ahead and keep the agenda item as it is, and authorize me to go ahead and execute the purchase of this property.
I'd move approval to purchase the property. Yeah, go ahead, that's fine.
Moved and seconded. Any comments?
Do we need to put it down as conditional on working out the details of the?
Yes.
I think we should, and then I think it's already clear by the motion, but just to be clear, this would authorize Dr. Sanders to execute any documents necessary to effectuate that purchase. I have reviewed the purchase agreement, but there may be a couple things that we may change. So if we could ensure the motion was contingent on agreeable legal terms, and that Dr. Sanders could execute anything necessary.
Do Okay, and I will second that.
Would there be any instance where the board president and secretary would need to sign off on anything? Or do you think the superintendent would be the only ones?
I think the superintendent would be all that would be necessary.
Awesome.
Okay, good.
Good questions.
All right. It has been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
One other thing on that too, Christine, is I think part of the, if Dr. Sanders can correct me, I think part of the verbal agreement was this, the buyers are responsible for closing costs. It's probably in this, I haven't read through the contract, but they will net $90,000 as sellers. The closing cost is on our dime.
Well, we're
That's
going
what-
to have conversations about that.
Okay, you guys can work that out.
There were a few recommendations that Christine sent to me, and so I will work with Christine on those particulars and make sure the board's aware of it before we sign anything.
That's good. I do want to, I don't know if anybody saw the appraisals, but the second appraisal makes me feel better about this decision because there was some zoning that there could have been a lot of different types of businesses in that little corner right there. That may not have matched up with the school, with the school's goals.
down there, yeah.
Yeah. So, all right.
We don't want a convenience store there with, competing with the lunch program.
That's right.
So, yeah, I too believe that having that property along State Road 46 is beneficial for the school corporation. We're such a big part of this community, yet we're kind of not visible in the community as far as physically, geographically. So I do like that idea. And I'm glad you hope the academic mathematic gymnastics wasn't too hard in determining the average. So
Yeah, well, I worked hard at it.
okay, I appreciate that. So, okay, anything further? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. And earlier asked if this was going to be a fast meeting. Let's see, next is permission to balance appropriation and funds as cash and appropriation allows. And for this, we'll turn to Mr. Irwin.
Keep this short and sweet. So this is just routine year-end closeout business. So essentially what we're doing is just moving around appropriations, not changing the overall amount, but moving around appropriation on any given lines just to match up with the total spend. In some cases, we were under each individual budget line. In some cases, you're a little bit over. I mean, there's literally thousands of lines within the different budgets, and so it's just moving things around to make sure all that stuff lines up at the end. It doesn't change the overall total appropriation, but it's just normal routine year-end business, so just asking for your permission to do that.
Do it.
Approval balancing appropriation funds, cash and appropriation allows.
A second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We move to consideration to approve the SRO agreement with the Ellisville Police Department. Dr. Sanders.
Yes, so we have had two different agreements with the Ellisville Police Department. One of the agreements is for the two SROs that are paid for with funds from a Homeland Security grant. And then we decided maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, to hire a third SRO, and the corporation pays for that. And what we've decided to do this go around is to combine those two different agreements into one. So this agreement will cover all three SROs. It'll be a 2-year agreement where we would pay the town of Ellisville $386,495.94 for the three SROs. In the agreement, it shows that we will pay 6 equal installments of $64,415.99. And we also identify which months those payments will be made. Those payments are really being made that will time out our requirements for the grant, we are required to match the grant, which is $80,000. And so we will pay these installments in ways that we'll be able to get credit for that during the period of the grant report, if that makes sense to you. So, as you know, I don't have to tell you that SROs are valuable, especially our three, who do an exceptional job and are oftentimes more popular than anybody on campus. So.
I think we need to make just one
Okay.
adjustment. On page 2, under compensation, there's an extra month, I think, at the,
Oh, I didn't take that out.
I think July needs to come out, correct?
September, July 1.
Yes. So it should be January 1st, 2025, May 1st, 2025, September 1st, 2025, January 1st, 2026, May 1st, 2026, September 1st, 2026, and that's it, October,
Okay, so just the word July should be taken out of that.
yeah.
With the grant money, if I'm doing the math right, this is a 2-year commitment, right? The 386?
I think so. If it's
October comes out too, I'm sorry.
Okay. As far as the cost of this, Dr. Sanders, the 386, that's not per year, that's over the 2 years.
Right.
And out of that, 160 of it, our hope is it's going to be covered by grant money.
Right.
Okay.
At least. Well, we know 80 is what we got this year. It's an annual grant that we have to apply for.
Right.
It's also become more popular across the state of Indiana, so more school corporations have applied. That's why we were reduced from 100,000 to 80. But it's my understanding the state's going to put more money into that, so maybe we'll pick that back up again. But it's an annual grant that we do. We report on it 3 times a year.
Okay. And part of the cost of this is covered by the police department, too.
So we pay for the salaries,
Okay.
and
They provide the cars and the equipment.
the town pays for the car and other equipment.
Most of the training, right?
and
Most of the training, got it. Okay. All right.
Do I have a motion?
This is very near and dear to me, so I want to make the motion to approve this. It seems like when Noel came to me a couple of weeks ago and says, hey, your contract is up, and I said, there's no way, it's a 2-year contract. And sure enough, it was up, so. I move approval of the SRO contract.
A second.
Moved and seconded. It's in here for a different reason, but I want to make sure that it's known that the school resource officers are employees of the police department. They are
That's
police
correct.
officers 24/7, 365. I hate that term, but anyway, all the time. They're not school employees. Again, there's employment issues or why that's important, but I think it's important for the community to know that these are police officers on duty, but in our buildings and on our campus. So I'm going to make that a point. Anything else? Been moved and seconded? Anything? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now we have the consideration to approve JAG agreements for both the junior high school and high school. And so, Dr. Sanders?
Do we have your permission to combine 13 and 14, Dana, then?
Yes.
Okay. So we've reported on JAG many, many times and the great success that we have. And we brag about that success, once again, because of the students and the teachers we have involved in that program. But we've been given an opportunity to expand it down to the junior high, 7th and 8th grade, and at the high school down to 9th and 10th grade. So I have Mr. Ackerman and Mr. Rensler here to speak about that.
First, I want to say I'm glad we got to follow the last agenda item. We have 3 excellent resource officers. And Dana, it's funny that you made it official that they are police officers, but they are school employees in the fact that they work so well with the kids and they do everything and they work with our staff so well. So I just really appreciate the great job that all three of them do. I can speak mostly for Jason, but I know all three of them are equally. Alec, when we have a big question, we always call Alex, so they all do a great job. So we currently have the JAG program, which is Jobs for American Grads. It started with 11 and 12, and the real focus is for students to have support. It's kids have pillars that they are supposed to fall into to be in the program, that these are reasons that they might struggle to graduate from high school, or these are the reasons that once they graduate from high school, they may not go into a career or follow a pathway that they really should be looking at. Could be college, could be career. And so we have a JAG specialist. It is actually hired by Vincent's University. The program comes through Vincent's University. And she has been, Jill Ferguson is actually our JAG coordinator right now, and she's tremendous. At first I thought she mothered the kids, and I realized, well, she probably does, much like my mother, which was not always the soft side, but she just really works with the kids to help them see their goals, to help them reach their goals, to give them great opportunities to grow as students. There were some students last year that at the end of their freshman year, I was really concerned about, are we going to be able to pull them through to the end? And by the time she had them for 2 years, they were so ready to graduate. Dr. Sanders and I went to French Lick for a conference where a couple of them presented in front of a large hall of people, and it just was an amazing experience. So she not only has them in school, but she actually tracks those students a year after they get out of school to make sure that they're following through on those goals of what they're doing. So they're bringing this down to the 9, 10, 7, 8. We're not exactly sure what it looks like. We've gotten some information on it, but it's a continuation of some students need more support to reach those goals and to help them focus. I looked at the 7 and 8. I was really excited about the objectives for 7 and 8, which is really just to work on success, school success, learning how to communicate, and I'll let you speak to that. Sorry about that. But
You're
then
doing great. Keep going.
9 and 10 has the same goals as 11 and 12, but Sam, what's Sam's last name? Perkins, yeah, thank you. Actually said that the JAG specialist is able to really mold and make the position and take certain parts. And so really we need that support, much like the 7 and 8 needs for 9 and 10, as they then grow into 11 and 12 and really start focusing heavily on college and careers. So it's now going to be a 6-year program, really exciting for kids who really need that extra support, that needs somebody in their corner, a mentor in their corner to help them along the way. And kids will come in, kids will drop out of the program, but the program is available for those kids now throughout the 6 years. So, go ahead.
So really how it came to us was Jen, myself, and John Siglin were sitting around talking about attendance issues and behavior issues, and then maybe a week later, they reached out about the 7-8 program. And kind of like Dirk was saying, it hits all of those different aspects of teaching some of these kids why school is important and how to focus on their success later on. We're hoping through that, again, to grab a handful of kids, get them started down the right path who may be on the bubble or headed in a direction that they shouldn't be at the junior high level, so that we can get them through junior high and into a good place with a trusted group of educators moving all the way up through graduation. So we sat down today, I know as our team, and we came up with a list of 50 kids in one meeting. And now we're at a point of, okay, we got to whittle that down to what one class looks like to get the ball rolling for this next semester and be able to run a full-fledged program next fall.
Who was the personnel? I mean, Jill's not doing 7 through 12.
No. So Mrs. Erin Vaughn is going to be taking over at the 7th and And then yours is?
Justin Barger. Justin has been in the position of our resource specialist. So he's been working at the high school, working with a lot of the same kids. Right now, he's going to move over then to this position. And we're going to try, he's got some 11 and 12 students that we're going to talk about moving into Jill's program for the 11 and 12 so that we can really continue to provide services to all the students. Justin does a great job. He's got a background of working with Ireland Services with the probation department with kids who really need that support. So.
Unless there's an objection, we'll take both agreements together. So is there a motion for?
I move to approve the JAG agreement for EJHS and EHS.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded.
Are we on year 6 of this now? I'm trying to remember. I know
Let's see.
it's at least 5.
Five, I think.
Five,
Okay,
yeah.
all right, because I know my last year that there were,
Yes.
that it was, I had a number of JAG students I was working with. One of them I'm friends with on Facebook and talk to frequently.
Yeah.
And it's exciting, and I know that it made a difference in where he is today
Yeah.
compared to where he would have been if it hadn't been for the JAG.
I think the difference that I see is we do a good job really working with kids, keeping them in school. Our graduation rate is above state average. But the difference is that for a lot of these kids, to get kids to graduate is one thing.
Yeah.
But it's the focus that Jill is giving them to help them see and giving them that extra step into a college or career that she does a lot of business events at Ivy Tech, has a lot of associations there. So it's not just graduating, it's you're graduating and you understand what you need in the next step of life.
Yeah, I definitely like the idea of expanding it. I think sometimes for some students that have struggled in high school, by the time you get to, being a junior, you've got a lot of past opportunities that you could have used to have furthered yourself along, and I think this would help, and doing it at junior high would help provide that foundation to just keep building on it. It's like any of our other programs, even athletics. You start off with the youth league, and you work your way up through the schools, and that's how you proven way to bring people along. Well, this is a proven way to bring students along as well. I feel I'm excited to expand the program. So is this additional positions that we'll need to have, or is it repurposing existing positions, or will we be?
It's just the agreement. It's the agreement with Vincent University. The positions actually come from Vincent University.
They don't work for us.
Gotcha. Okay, I forgot about that, yeah.
Vincent's pays them.
Yeah.
Vince,
Through a grant.
Through a grant.
It's all-
through a grant, okay. And then I assume that our teachers, Ms. Ferguson and Mr. Berger, are trained through VU? Okay.
Yes.
And then are we one of the first junior highs to do this in the state? Because
Well, there are some other junior highs. They just.
are we a guinea pig is what my question
It's
is.
a newer program for the junior high.
Okay.
I wouldn't say this is the first year, but it is a newer program.
We're early in 9 and 10 as well.
Okay, so we're not reinventing a wheel, like, 'cause we've got all these different programs that we're doing for kids. It's there to make it even stronger.
Yep.
Okay. And it's gonna work within their class schedule. They're not giving up something else that they need to have.
For
Okay,
us, we will add it in as an elective class
Okay.
at the junior high, so it'll just be another class that those students can take.
But it won't be like a 9-week, 6-week rotation. It'll be a
Nope.
full year deal.
It'll be a full year deal.
Okay.
I know a lot of the kids that I had, they probably would have had a study hall.
Yeah.
And this kind of.
Right.
Is for some of them, it was a good study hall, but for some of them,
Oh,
it was something else.
'Cause they don't have time at the high school. I mean, some of the kids don't have time to get that in their schedule, correct?
No, actually, that'd be one of Justin's missions. We'll make sure that they're passing enough classes that they've got room in the schedule to take JAG.
Right.
But yeah, it's a once a day, one period a day resource class.
Okay.
Yeah. Questions?
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, now we have consideration, this is informational, the first reading for Neola policies, and there's several volumes there, so I won't read them all for you, but again, so I'll turn it over to Dr. Sanders.
Yes, we do have a number of policy revisions, and it really ranges from revisions to school board meetings, to finances, to grants, a wide variety of different policies that you're being asked to review this month. As we say every time that we review our policies, Neola is a company that we work with. They have a team of attorneys that pays attention to state and federal law changes, and so they advise us on these potential revisions. We also run these revisions past Carolyn, and also we run it by our administrators and directors, and to make sure that the options we're choosing are the appropriate ones. So what I'd ask the board to do is just over the next few weeks, review what we sent out to you, and if there are any changes, let us know so we can have those conversations to make the appropriate changes.
Bless you for reading all of this.
Okay. Now consideration to approve the 2025 school board meeting calendar.
That does sound weird.
Yeah. Dr. Sanders?
Do we need any explanations
No.
to this?
No.
Motion to approve the school board calendar for the 2025 school year.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. I will point out that the January 6th will be the board's organizational meeting, so we'll have to make sure that our returning board members are either sworn in at that meeting or before. And then because of Martin Luther King Jr. Day, our January meeting will be on a Tuesday, January 21st. We'll have the Board of Finance at 6, regular meeting at 6:10. And then the March meeting is also on a Tuesday, I forget why.
Right. So we to accommodate Mr. Durnall, who has a commitment on Monday nights where it's not on the third Monday. He has a commitment, so we tried to, when those months where we had to make an adjustment, we tried to make those on a Tuesday.
Yeah, so that was a spring break, so that, yeah. Okay.
So, Mr. Kerr, also I have a question. Do we need to swear, have somebody here to swear in the board members since were on the board?
Yes, because they're starting a new appointment. Their previous, they serve until they've been replaced. They're replacing themselves. So they would need to be sworn in for the next step. I believe a notary can do it, and I'm a notary, though I don't know if they want me to do it. But
We don't have to have somebody else.
we definitely can have somebody else come in if you want.
No, that's okay. You could probably do a good job. Okay.
I think you swore me in 4 years, no?
Well, I may have said it, but there was definitely a notary there because I am not one.
Yeah. So we can discuss who we'd like to have present at that. That's not an action item, so we can do that. Okay. Let's see, and then also a Tuesday in October, and I believe that would be due to fall break. So, okay. Any questions, comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. So again, after this meeting, our next meeting will be January 6th, the organizational meeting. Okay, consideration to approve the 2025-26 and 26-27 school calendars.
Yes. So there's not really nothing that's too much out of the norm for our school calendars. School will start on the first Wednesday in August. Fall break is October 13th through the 17th. Thanksgiving break is November 26th through the 28th. Winter break is December 22nd through January 2nd. And then spring break is March 16th through the 20th. And then we end up in May, on May 22nd. And graduation will be on May 30th. This is the 2025-26 calendar. And then you can see on the back, we also have the 26-27 calendar, and pretty much the same thing as the 25-26 calendar, only because of the way that the end of the school year happens in regard to Memorial Day. The graduation ceremony will be June 5th. Now, I went ahead and put in our flex days for both calendars. So if you remember, we get the waiver from the state on the flex days, but that's a decision that hasn't been made yet, whether or not will be approved for next year. But I went ahead and put them on the calendar so people could plan their schedules around that. And we went ahead and we're doing 2 calendars this year instead of 1.
Okay.
I'll move approval of the proposed calendars for 25-26 and 26-27 school years.
I'll second.
Moved, seconded. Any discussion?
Is Flex Days e-learning day, or is that no learning day? When
The
it says
e-learning
Flex Day-
days are, we're only allowed 3 e-learning days, and those are our, we go to those for our snow makeup days.
Okay, so flex days, like the yellow ones, are no kids. Like, they're not doing anything online at home?
Right.
Okay, all right.
I sure wish that for May of 26 that could have finished the teachers before the Memorial Weekend too, but it's just calendars are calendars, and they're just hard to navigate. I get that. It's just hard after going to Memorial Day weekend to come back, but I get it. So
I just, the last student day being on May 21st, then graduation not being until June 5th and 27, that seems like a
yeah, I saw that
stretch.
too.
So we do have a snow makeup day in the calendar
Yeah.
during the school year, not just at the end. So on the April 2026, that would be April 3rd, and on the next year's calendar is April 16th. So we will use our 3 e-learning days first.
Right.
And then if we have a 4th inclement weather day where we have to cancel school, then we would make that up on April 3rd in one calendar and April 16th in the other calendar.
Right.
Okay. All right. And
So back on May of 2027, there was no, that's Memorial Day on the 29th, May 29th? Okay.
May
And 27, it'd be May 24th. Or would it?
May, no,
Memorial
No,
Day,
May 31st.
May,
May 31st.
the last
May
Monday.
is May 31st.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, the last Monday.
And
So if you did it the 29th, you'd be doing it on Memorial Weekend, which we always
Right.
tried to avoid.
Right.
Right.
So yeah, it's 2 weeks later,
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
hopefully people.
It's not ideal, but it's either Memorial Day weekend or.
Or the
do it
following,
later.
right?
Who does the school calendar together? Does the teachers get involved at all with this?
Well, we present the calendar to the Teachers Association at our discussion meetings,
Okay.
and they send it out to the teachers.
Okay.
We also share it with our principals, and so they give us feedback on that, and we utilize that feedback to make any changes.
And there's always tough decisions.
Oh, yeah,
So,
and complaints.
no matter what. Okay. So it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Now we have the ILC Designs Business Plan for the spring of 2025. And for that, Jennifer Barrett will fill us in.
So normally, I would not be presenting a student-run business plan, but being that it's the week of finals and a performance next door and baseball practice, somehow I got nominated for the job. So I had absolutely nothing to do with this plan other than providing some feedback to students as they were developing it along with Mrs. Wilson. And this is really just informational for you to see how ILC Designs is growing. We really got Coffee Corral up and off the ground. Just to give you an idea, I don't want to spoil their news that I'm sure they'll share with you, but they are looking to clear over $30,000 this fiscal year, which is phenomenal for that student-run business. And now we are really starting to pour into ILC Designs and what can we do to help them get this up off the ground. So taking a look at their business plan for this spring, the 4 objectives that they have is continued growth with their online sales, an expansion of the print center to the campus service, an expansion of retail center collaboration with Coffee Corral. So what they mean by that is they are hoping to have a space right outside the Coffee Corral with hoodies and hats, all Edgewood apparel that students can purchase, plus some special things here and there, maybe if it's a 'Tis the Season collectible shirt or something like that, so the kids can start having some of these cool things that they can take out of high school with them. And also partnering more with our sports teams for club and logo gear, things like that. We'd like to keep that in-house as much as possible. So that's going to be their 4 objectives as they head into the spring that they're going to start to concentrate on. Thanks to Mr. Irwin over here. He met with Lisa a few weeks ago, and one thing that we have done with Coffee Corral is we have picked up as a corporation the expenses of those student employees. They are hoping very soon to make that a business that is self-sustainable, but we are really going to have to do that with ILC Designs as well. What we're finding is that the business is growing. We are getting more sales, but what's happening is we have interns in there who are working the business one period at a time. And so they can't keep up with the demand. And so what's happening is orders are taking 2 or 3 weeks to get back to clients and customers, and that's just too long if you're truly running a print business. So they are going to propose, I think they're going to meet with Mr. Irwin, new positions for spring 2025, including a retail fabrication specialist, level 1, a retail manager and staff accountant, as well as a design lead. They actually have students right now in all of these positions, but what they're looking to do is expand some of these positions to after hours and also into summer so that we can keep some of our equipment running and keep some of that profit coming in over the summer. There's no reason to shut it down. It's going really well. What we're looking at, Mrs. Wilson and the students really feel strongly that a scholarship would be phenomenal for these students who are in these higher level positions, manager type positions. And so they are going to be working with Dollars for Scholars to be able to take money that the students have helped to build in profit and then funnel that back to the managers with up to $1,000 scholarships each year, and that's based on profit. So the more the kids make, the more they earn back in a scholarship. Looking at the next school year, some objectives that they have for growth. They are continuing to continue to look at future commission incentives for all staff. They would like to expand, like I was saying, into that summer 2025 part-time fabrication. They have a goal of 25-26 being self-funded. I really hope they can make that goal with a semester of kind of boosting them up. But I anticipate that this may be a little bit longer than just a semester. Growth takes a little while here with student-run businesses, and then adding future additional positions. So Mrs. Wilson and the students are currently working on job descriptions and everything like that to be able to turn in so that those can go into our classified handbook, just like we do with the coffee corral. But we are excited to be able to offer these opportunities to students. We have kids who are working in there 1 and 2 periods a day, kids who are donating their time after hours because they believe so much in what they're doing. And so I think it's time that we make this a true student-run business for them. So any questions on this plan, I will try to answer for you.
I just know the presentation that the coffee corral staff did, they know their stuff.
They
And
sure
It's
do.
just so impressive to hear
They sure do.
the seriousness with which they take their responsibilities.
Yeah.
It's great training.
They do. They're an incredible group of managers, and this is going to be an experience for them it's going to propel them into arenas that they could have never imagined. So it's exciting, and this is a piece where Mrs. Wilson really wants the same thing for these kids. It's going to look different for them, as it should. It's a different student-run business. But the opportunities here, when we think about how we can partner with local organizations for engineering, for design, there are a lot of areas here where we can start using our students as apprentices, and also allowing them to do some work that they could be paid for in ILC designs. We really haven't closed any doors there. We're really open to whatever the students bring in, or community partners bring to us and say, can you do this work? I'm hopeful that in a year, maybe a year and a half, I'm coming to you with our third student-run business, which is our marketing, and saying, okay, now we're to the point that we have outside entities asking our marketing team to do things for them, like social media, videos, those kinds of things. So this is kind of the next step in this whole process.
So does this expansion include expansion equipment or just
That's a really good question. The only equipment expansion right now would be some items for the print shop, and they've already been purchased. We actually have 2 donated pieces that Rick and I were just talking about today. They are 2 monstrous paper cutters. Dirk's like, tell me more where we're going to put those. But 2 monstrous paper cutters that Cook Medical actually reached out to Lisa and said, these are in great shape. You don't have to have a license to actually operate them. Not like a license, meaning a software license. In other words, we don't have additional things we need to purchase. Would you like these? And it will do everything from fold brochures to print business cards, cut business cards. It would really open up our print side of things without any additional cost to us. So our goal is next semester to really get that print shop up and running. But the work has to be done in there first with construction. So everything's sort of on hold until that construction work gets done. And then once that's completed, we will be full tilt up and running, both ILC designs, new print shop, all of the pieces, and hopefully have 5 or 6 kids working in there every single period.
So how are we doing on space?
Well, how are we doing on space?
Why is it
So
always that, no
the-
matter what we ask about?
The additional space, it's tight. I mean, Rick's already asking, how are we going to fit these 2 other pieces of equipment in? I think once the construction is done in the new print shop, which is the old Edge classroom, we'll be able to answer that question better. Right now, we just have things shoved in there. The ventilation isn't completed. All those things that have to be done so we can really see how machines are going to fit. Lisa has put it out on paper, but really what that looks like and how it feels when we have kids in there working around each other, that'll be the question of whether or not the space works for this. We're hopeful that we haven't outgrown this space too soon.
Well, Dirk's got lots of space to his office.
We're also hopeful that we're able to get one of those spaces back in the ILC next year that's currently being used full-time as a classroom. We'd like to be able to get one of those spaces back for classes to be able to come in and use throughout the day. So the other Mr. Kerr will be moving into a different classroom so that we can open up one of those spaces. But as soon as we open a space in ILC Designs, we find another purpose, another reason that it needs to be used by another group of kids. As you can see, we do not have a lack of students in this corporation with talent, whether it's artistic, it's entrepreneurial. There's just so many opportunities, and these kids are constantly pushing the boundaries of what can we do next? How can we create this? How can we do that? And much to Dr. Sanders and Mr. Irwin's delight, I don't tell kids no very often, and I try really hard to try to figure out a way to do that and make it work for them. So my answer right now is we're doing okay, and we will figure it out. But I can't promise you what I will come to you in a year and ask for.
Yeah. I'm really excited about how we're growing. I just want to make sure we don't overgrow too fast to where we're not, kind of like the printing not being able, or the design not being able to keep up.
Yeah.
And not, and not turn it into a, I don't know, just trying to crank out product. It's more about the experience
and quality, and I think that's a big piece. The kids, it has absolutely crushed them, but they've had to turn away orders the last couple of weeks, like last minute Christmas orders, and that's been hard for them to say no, I'm sorry, we can't take that, when they know it's $100 profit or a $200 profit. But it's good for them to see with business we can only handle so much, and our deadline is December 20th, and we have to meet those deadlines. So it's just another experience for them to learn and grow. But you're exactly right. We're right now on that very careful balancing act of growing, but growing too fast and outstretching our means. So I'm hopeful that this next semester we can catch some of that up and get us back in a good place. We know we have students that will benefit from this. We also have students that need a part-time job, and what a great way to do that for 2 periods during the day if you can fit it in your schedule and learn and earn some certifications along the way. So we're hopeful.
Okay. So if they operate in the summer, then they have staff?
Mrs. Wilson would be with them over the summer. We wouldn't be operating full-time or anything like that. It would really kind of be on an as-needed basis. They're starting to develop relationships with businesses that are needing ongoing orders. So we can't just shut it down in the winter. It might be trophies that Cook Medical needs for different entities. They shipped some out a couple weeks ago that went out of the country for some awards with Cook in another country. So we are developing those relationships that require us to make sure that we are open year-round and can continue to take those. Lemonade Day is another one. We do shirts and trophies, and that goes into the summertime as well, with their competition being in June. So it does require us to stay alert with what's going on, making sure that we can still take those online orders, those emailed orders, keeping our relationship strong with those businesses more than anything else.
I know it's hard to get the word out about all the great things we're doing.
Yeah.
It just popped in my head, so it's probably not a good idea. But one thing they might consider is like a couple nights that there's basketball games, setting up out in the lobby a table showing these are the things that we're doing.
Yeah.
The kind of businesses we're around. Of course, you have the coffee shop, but what about these other things?
Absolutely.
There's a lot more just the general community who's coming into those things, who will pick up on that won't necessarily follow it.
Yeah.
Because it's on our website or something.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're going to highlight a lot of this at the 8th grade night coming up in January. That used to be just an area where we would highlight the content areas. English department, math department, and really we're starting to expand that into the pathways. So this pathway can lead to this opportunity, this pathway can lead to that opportunity. And for a lot of these parents, this will be the first time that they've been introduced to some of those pieces unless they have older students. We're also starting to see some of the monitors at the high school are starting to run some of the ILC Designs finished products. Also showing video of the kids working, so kids who aren't aware of what happens in there, we're starting to get that word out. It really is our marketing team that's doing the best job with selling who we are. But I think you hit the nail on the head. I don't think it's getting down into our K-5, maybe not even our 6-8. It's really blowing up at 9 through 12. And we have some ideas about how to work on that I hopefully will be coming back to you next month to say we're ready to expand the marketing team, and here are some ways that we can do that. So.
Well, they'll be going beyond the school walls as well.
Yeah, we've given them almost all of the tools at this point to do this. There's one technical last piece that we need to put into place.
Which you're going to tell us about next month and how much it's going to cost. Okay. I understand you.
I just, little bits at a time, at a time. So yeah, some good things on the horizon there with that team.
Okay.
Any other questions?
That this is going to be self-sustaining, so
Yeah.
the goal is the payroll's not coming from the corporation. They're going to learn the final It sounds great, and you're doing great, but
Yeah.
there's a difference between profit and net profit.
Absolutely.
And they're not covering any of the costs right now, correct? Of the
They
employees.
they are covering all of their costs right now other
they're
than
not-
employees.
Other than salaries, okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
and we're not paying any of their salaries except for Mrs. Wilson. This would be brand new for them to have student salaries on the books. They are currently self-sustainable in terms of being able to purchase product to keep on hand so that they can complete orders. They can even purchase $3,000-$4,000 worth of product if they get a big order in at this point, and be able to fund that themselves.
Okay.
Coffee Corral is getting really close to being self-sustainable. I know Jackson Klinger may not like for me to share that with you because he likes to hold on to every dime he has, but their account is looking really nice. And they are going to be getting to the point that we're going to have to squeeze Jackson, Mr. Irwin, and start saying, you can pick up 3 or 4 of your employees and start putting that back on
That
them a
would be
little
the goal.
bit.
I mean, that's
Sounds
the
like a
goal.
good man.
That's the
long-term
goal.
Get
Yeah.
this done.
That's the goal.
I'd rather see that before adding a third line or a third business.
Yeah,
Because they need to
absolutely.
learn the whole experience.
Absolutely, yeah. Yep.
The learning experiences are incredible.
Right.
All right.
That the kids they're getting from this, just in the different aspects of everything that's going on down there. It just is amazing what Edgewood High School students are getting from that program. It really is. Jackson's a great example. He could leave Edgewood High School and go run a business. And I mean that quite
Yeah,
sincerely.
right.
Yeah.
It's just marketing and just all the parts of the business and what it takes to produce a product. And kids just aren't getting that in very many high schools, but they are actually high schools.
Yep.
We got a special place.
We do. We do. Tonight has been a celebration of that for sure. Okay,
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
thank you.
I love the segue here.
Okay, let's see. I'm sorry, what was that?
I said I love the segue, where we're going.
Yeah, where we're going. Okay, consideration to approve changes to the evaluation plan for the superintendent. Dr. Sanders, you want to explain about your evaluation?
Well, let's just go right to the fact of, just go ahead and make me a highly effective, we won't have to vote at all. I'm going to ask Christine to kind of help with this. I believe the major change is, since the federal government doesn't give the letter grade every year, we've taken that out of the rubric. 75% will be on performance evaluation, and 25% will be on the goals and objectives that I present to the board and give a report on how those are met. Were there any other changes?
That was it. We had formerly had the grade at 10%, and we just evenly distributed that to the other two components. Do want to note that the timeline for the evaluation cycle, we have not changed that, but we have not kept that timeline very well. But for 2025, I think we can try to hit the timeline, at least get very, very close if we don't get it exactly.
And I apologize for that. I think that falls on me not to.
Well, we'll probably need some reminders as we go along.
Yeah. That's the thing. I did get reminders. Like
I take a lot of reminders, though.
Yeah. Okay. So do we have a motion to approve those changes?
I move approval of the changes in the evaluation plan for the superintendent.
I second it, along with the addendum that we're going to stay on track with our timeline next year.
I agree.
Yeah, we need to do better on that. That's our job.
I guess I've been properly admonished. So.
No,
Moved and seconded. Any further?
Something I could give you a hard time on.
I know. Yes, beginning to spill over from other places. So, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now consideration of a contract for certified de-escalation and restraint training. Mr. Irwin.
So this is training that's provided to school personnel. It's used for non-combative techniques to de-escalate crisis situations with students as they arise due to mental or physical stress. It may lead to them potentially harming themselves or others. The trainees are first and foremost instructed to identify the warning signs of stress and to intervene using effective de-escalation techniques prior to any physical restraint. In cases where physical restraint is necessary only as a last resort. So the training teaches trainees to apply the least amount of force required to prevent harm using research-based techniques that protect all individuals. This is something that does comply with state and federal guidelines and laws, and this is something that Christine Ferguson Law was able to review as well. The cost of the programming is paid for through Medicaid funds. And so with that, I'm asking for your approval of this training for our staff.
Approval of contracts certifying de-escalation and restraint training.
I'll second.
And seconded. Who all would be trained in this?
So various employee groups, so it could be administrators, teachers, IAs, SEL staff, or different people that might be involved in responding to those types of crises that students may be in. This is something that we've done in the past. This is a different program, one that we feel better aligns with what it is that we're trying to do as far as the time that it takes and what it offers to our staff. So there's a wide variety of people that do get trained in these techniques that does span from administrators to teachers to special education, instructional assistants, and different people of that SEL team, the people that are responding to those crises when students have them.
So it's not across the board, it's only those that would be responding?
Those that would be trained and be able to respond to that type of incident that may need to use restraint. So yes, it's not every single staff member. I believe that some of the training does get passed along to staff members as far as working with them to understand what to do in those situations, but they're not necessarily the team of individuals that might get called to come and assist a student who might be in crisis.
Would SROs be, I know they've been trained, highly trained, but would they also be part of this?
I'm not sure if they get trained in this piece. I know one of the things, we avoid SROs going hands-on with any student pretty much at all costs. And so I think that they're aware of the trainings, but typically in those situations, they're just they're off to the side just to try to help protect in those situations. They're not necessarily involved in the restraint.
What about bus monitors?
A bus monitor?
Do we have a bus monitors like with somebody that's got severe and profound student?
So I'd have to double check with this because it's something
I'm
that's
just thinking
Jennifer
outside the
Anderson piece,
box.
but as far as getting down into the specific employee groups, but yeah, it's a wide variety of students that get asked to respond to this, and so working with them to make sure that they understand what's allowable and what's not, or what to do in certain situations to avoid, like I said, at all costs. It's a last resort to have to physically restrain a student. But working on the majority of it is based on de-escalation and getting those students to a place where that's not necessary so that it prevents harm to themselves or to others.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Consideration to purchase 321 Insight Parasharp PD series. Dr. Sanders.
Parasharp is a professional development training series that is specifically designed for onboarding and professional development for our special education instructional assistants. So the program will allow our assistants to gain necessary knowledge and also training in best practices that they will be able to utilize when they work with our special education students here at RBB. The cost of the program is $5,600, and it's paid for through Medicaid, and so recommend your approval.
I move approval of the purchase of the 321 Inside Parasharp PD series.
A second.
Moved, second. Any discussion?
I didn't read it closely enough, I guess, but is this an in-service training, or is it something that they would be doing this summer, or when does that happen?
It's online, so it could be
Okay.
done pretty much, I think, anytime.
Okay, thank you.
Any further? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Now is consideration for continuation of contract services with adult and child. Dr. Sanders?
Yeah, so you're familiar with adult and child. Since we've expanded our mental health team, adult and child has been one of our partners, and this contract just continues that partnership.
Do I have a motion?
I'll move approval of the continuation of contract services with adult and child.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now consideration for contract of language line interpreting services. Mr. Irwin.
Contract is to provide services to students for non-English speaking families or as well as deaf and hard of hearing families as well. So it provides services such as during an ILP meeting, an IEP conference. It could be during student enrollment, family teacher conferences, different events like that. It's something something that would be a service to remove barriers for students that are non-English speaking and their families, so that we have the type of communication that we need with them as a school and as the family to make sure that we have a successful relationship and education for their student.
Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the contract with the language line interpreting services.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
So this is more beyond the classroom then? This is for those other
Yeah, so it's,
communications with parents?
yeah, so it has specific pieces as far as in those instances where we might need to provide those services. It could be with a parent, it could be during an IEP, it could be one of those different places that in our conversations with Jennifer Anderson, it wasn't necessarily aimed at during the school day, but I don't know that it specifically bars it from doing that if we were to specifically need it.
So I don't know if it's a child that's doing the reading test in second or third grade, that they needed some help in understanding the instructions. Is that a possibility or something like that?
I'd
Or
have
would
to
it be
double
more-
check on that.
just-
I think we might have some different things in place that might allow that
okay.
to work out for the student, but I would have to check with her specifically as what those accommodations or what those
Yeah, I
might
know
be.
that there are restrictions on what you can do in testing, but okay.
Our pinch hitting for Mrs. Anderson, whose family member had surgery, so she's actually out of town helping that family member.
So we already have accommodations in place for deaf students, right? We have a separate contract with somebody with that already, I thought. With deaf?
Yes.
Deaf, hard of hearing.
Did you hear me?
Speaking of deaf, hey,
Okay, yes.
one hearing aid isn't working,
Yeah,
so
okay, all right, never mind. All right, I
I'm
got you.
having trouble hearing
All
tonight.
right, I got you.
Anything further? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, made it through the action items. So we will turn to the superintendent's report
Got 6 minutes, right?
that you got to share with everybody else.
I'll just be as quick as possible. This might be new to some people, we are working on a new project, and just like we've done with the ILC and so many of our projects that we do across our corporation, we definitely have a vision for this project, and we're going to see where it goes. We have a lot of confidence that we're going to be able to develop a project which will enable juniors and seniors in high school to go through certifications to be able to, once they graduate from high school, go directly into a biomedical company like Cook Medical, IU Health, Boston Scientific, and go right into the workforce. And then at that point, they can decide whether or not they want to further their education in the biomedical field. And so we've already had conversations with a number of different organizations that we have received their commitment. We've applied for a Ready 2.0 grant. We haven't heard about that yet. But we wanted to get the ball rolling and start taking these ideas that were really drafted enough to be able to submit the idea to the Ready 2.0 folks. But now we want to get these partners together and drill down into more specifics. So we're going to have an organizational meeting this Thursday at 2 o'clock. And we have representatives from all of our partners who will be here. I sent a survey out today to those partners to respond to in terms of getting some input on vision statements or mission statement, when they would be able to have regular meetings, and just kind of getting organized to move forward. I also asked in the survey to start thinking about what specific certifications that they could come to our campus and train our juniors and seniors in high school to be able to fill these critical employer needs. We're also partnering with the Excel Center. Excel Center works with adults, and so we want to be able to bring them into the project to be able to not only reach high school students, but also folks in our community, parents who might be looking for a career in the biomedical training. So this would be really a game-changing program, and we're excited to get the process started. So one other thing that really has been on my heart lately, and that is to really think about what we're doing as a school corporation to support our teachers. When we have attended our HRS conferences in whether it's Birmingham or San Antonio, one of the major aspects of those conferences is about teacher wellness. And when we went to the conference in Birmingham, Alabama, it really touched my heart that we need to try to really think about what it's like to be a teacher. I tell my daughter this all the time. She's a second grade teacher, and I tell her all the time that teaching today is so much harder than it was when I was teaching in the late 1980s, early 90s. And so many times we come to the conclusion that, well, that's just the way it is if you're a teacher. And we want to not just give that answer. We want to be able to really explore, do some research, and we want to look into areas of physical wellness, mental wellness, emotional wellness, and social wellness in terms of supporting our teachers. So I'm asking each of our schools to provide me with 2 teachers from each school to begin working on this project. Where it's going to go, I don't know. We're going to do research. We're going to study this teacher wellness and just kind of see where it takes us and what we can do to better support our teachers. So stay tuned on that. We have some more teachers going to the High Reliability Schools Institute. This time we'll be going to San Antonio. We'll have 15 teachers and 6 coaches, directors, or administrators who will be attending the conference. And so this will really help the teachers that went in September. We'll be adding to their force and having a greater base of teachers who have the knowledge of what HRS is all about. And then we'll continue to take some more teachers sometime next year as we grow and get deeper into HRS. As you know, all of our schools are working on level 1 right now. And so we're looking forward to, we're starting to move into levels 2 and 3. And so the more teachers that we have trained in HRS and knowledgeable in HRS, the better that process will go. And then last week, Dana and myself and Jennifer Barrett and Christine went to a law conference, and I just kind of want to share with the board some of the topics that we discussed that day. If you look over those topics and you want to know more about that particular area, let me know. We'll get you the slides from the law conference, and each of those slides also has contact information for who presented on that area, and so we'll be able to get you in contact with those individuals. So I'd like to wish everybody happy holidays and Happy New Year.
And I will add on to the law conference, one thing that the administrators might want to be reaffirmed, probably not new, but when it comes to the hate speech, something that we all know of words that were originally benign, appropriate in certain contexts, that that word or words become offensive in a different context. And so even if it seems to be on its surface okay, if it has a slang meaning that's not okay, you can still regulate that and you can still stop that, from occurring. So I just wanted to let you know that it's, you can't just look for the bad words. It's people these days have just twisted so many words and phrases and made them out to be something that they were never intended to be. So, but you can take that in consideration. So, sorry, but just thought I'd add. Now we have RBBEA comments, and we have Randy Abel with us this evening.
I just want to start with, on behalf of the association, we just want to continue to wish best wishes for Jim Hornick as he just works on getting healthier. And then Rachel Shea, moving on to her next endeavors. And then just thank you again for getting our tag money to us. Teachers were very, very appreciative. And then just finally, I want to say, I know teachers at my level will be very excited about these new up-and-coming PD sessions for just supporting special ed and especially our assistants. These one-on-ones that come in, and especially at our age, where a lot of times we're trying to figure out what's going on with these children, and just so it'll be very exciting to have these opportunities. And that's all I have.
Okay, well, thank you. All right, board member comments. Mr. DeMoss.
I'm glad that the on-again, off-again purchase of the property is finally happening. I got the chance to go talk to a couple of groups at fifth graders at the EIS for BizTown, and I always enjoy that opportunity, and they had great questions. But seeing the band and the ambassadors, I get the feeling that the dreams that I had as a teacher over the years, they're coming to fruition, that we have a system where students are starting to take control of their own education, and they are no longer just waiting for somebody to tell them what to do. They're telling us what they need. And that was my dream as a teacher, that they wanted their education to get better, and they demand of us. Makes it harder for us, I think, and the administrators have a lot harder job, but boy, it's worth it. And I appreciate what you all are doing, and I think that it's starting to pay off. And I just thank you, Dr. Sanders, and all the administrators for what you've done. So that's what I've got. And happy holidays to everybody.
Hey, Mr. Tucker.
Holidays, I was just thinking, thanks to all the you back row folks too, and Miss Barrett and Rick. It's a 14-hour day. It's a long day. So I appreciate you guys coming out here tonight. And happy holidays. Recharge your batteries, and looking forward to a great 2025. Then I did this last year, man. I just really thank you to the HR folks and the payroll for getting everything. I know everything, they were kind of getting pushed at the last moment, but I'm glad I got the retro checks out and as Ms. Abel said, the tag money. So I know they do. So thank you.
Mr. Durr.
Happy holidays. You all taking everything I was going to say here on the notes, but I do appreciate so much that you being here, and I'm just so pleased with how things are going. I'm tickled to death Dirk's back, and hope we never have to do those quick runs for you again. So I've been on both sides of those, so I know that's good. But thank you so much. Jerry, Matt, thank you for your leadership. Appreciate it so much.
Well, and everything they said, and it is exciting. It's an exciting time. I thought this could be a quick meeting, but it was full of a lot of very wonderful things and a whole lot of progress, and so that's excellent. And I just think about the projects going on around the schools. Yeah, there's some growing pains, when you have to switch classrooms and all that, but it's happening, and everybody's doing it with, really good attitudes, and so that's really helping. So we appreciate everybody being patient and with that. So thanks so much. Seeing the activity center pop up, I like to call it field house, I don't know, but see the field house pop up like it is great. And the preschool and daycare building, I know that Brenda and I had conversations about that many years ago, that was a dream of hers, that we pointed out there to that field and said, it'd be good out there. So I'm just so amazed that those things are getting done. And so I appreciate every one of you, and you all have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. This meeting's adjourned.